the spring in Minnesota, that means lots of things, but it also means it becomes pollinator season.
There are, which I did not know this, more than 500 native bee species just in Minnesota. But they are in decline. So we wanted to bring in an expert with the University of Minnesota's Bee Squad. Elise Bernstein is here to give us some ways that we can all help the bumblebees. Hello, and welcome to our show, Elise.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
500, more than 500 in Minnesota. How many did you tell me in commercial break were in North America?
Yeah, there's about 4,000 species of bees in North America.
And in the world, you said 20,000?
20,000, yep.
Did you know that?
Only because I was paying attention during commercial break when she brought it up. But I don't think people think that there are that many bees. I feel like with bees being in the news a lot lately, culturally we've been a little more focused on what's going on with them and the health. But so has the Bee Squad been around for a while, or is this something new?
Yep, the Bee Squad has been around for a while. So
Okay.
we are kind of the outreach and education team that's part of the Bee Lab at the University of Minnesota. You can sort of picture this Venn diagram where in one circle you've got our honeybee research lab, then in the other circle of the Venn diagram is our native bee research lab, and then Bee Squad is kind of the overlap in the middle. So
Okay.
we are a team of researchers and educators that support research in both the honeybee and native bee labs, but we're also kind of the public face of the lab. So we talk to people about the different ways that they can support pollinators, different resources for learning more about bees, and then we also offer mentoring to beekeepers. We teach beekeeping to veterans, beekeeping to incarcerated people. So we're really meant to sort of be that education team that's part of the lab.
All right, we've been talking a lot about pollination season or pollinator season. What exactly is that? Is it the time of year that we're in right now?
Yeah, so it's spring. It's been really warm the last few weeks, which is a little abnormal for spring, but this is really the time of year that we start seeing bees emerge from where they're overwintering, going out visiting the few flowers that start blooming. Yeah, that's really kind of where we're at in terms of the season.
So the bumblebees live underground, is that the deal? A lot of them do?
Some of them do. So that's kind of one of the things we're trying to learn more about when it comes to bumblebee nesting, is like where the bumblebees are actually living.
Because I remember seeing one climb out of the backyard once. I was like, oh, I don't know why that was a surprise to me, but they're living in sometimes like caverns that, or not caverns, but tunnels that like critters have created. Are they making their own, or how does that work?
Yeah, so the nests are founded by a queen who had overwintered. She comes out from her overwintering site and she looks for a place to start a nest, which very often is like an abandoned rodent den. So those are very often underground. Sometimes it's like a bundle of grass, that was also kind of assembled by a rodent. But they're using these areas that have some sort of pre-existing insulation already. So in urban areas, that might look like a birdhouse that's not being used by birds, or even like the cushions on your patio furniture are super attractive to them because they really like provide that pre-existing insulation. Since they're not building their own nests, they're just inhabiting other spaces.
Am I the only one who didn't know that bees winter? I don't know if I thought they all died off or what, but I didn't really realize that they wintered in Minnesota.
So a lot of them overwinter in either like the pupal or pre-pupal stage. So they're not actually adults when they're overwintering. Bumblebees, it's just the queens that do survive in their adult form.
So all the other bees die except for the queen and the babies that are coming when it starts to get warm out?
So it kind of depends on what species we're talking about. It can get really confusing to think about overwintering because bumblebees are kind of an anomaly because they're social insects. So they live in these big colonies where there's a queen and workers and males in this division of labor. But actually the majority of our native bees in Minnesota are solitary. So that means there's just one female bee who will mate with a male, create a tunnel nest either underground or in a hollow plant stem, lay some eggs, kind of provision those eggs. And that's kind of her whole life. The majority of bees follow that structure where they don't have this big social nest. But with bumblebees, the nest is founded by this one queen, and then there's these workers and these males that are produced. But those queens are the only ones that survive the winter, and they start building their nests in the spring.
Okay, so let's get back to bees and how they're doing in our state. We have more than 500 different types of bees in our state. We mentioned some are kind of in decline and some are very low numbers right now. Talk a little bit about the health of bees right now.
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's something we're still trying to learn a lot more about. We have really good data about some of our pollinators. We know that 1 in every 3 species of bumblebee is declining. That's across all of North America. But for a lot of our native pollinators, a lot of these really small solitary native bees, we're not really sure how they're doing because they're rare or they're hard to find or they have these really short windows of time where they're out visiting flowers. So we have good data about our bumblebees. We know that they are in decline, but a lot of our other native pollinators, we're not totally sure what's going on with them.
So people can plant things in their yards that will help?
Yes.
That's legit?
That's legit,
Okay.
yeah. Habitat loss is one of the big drivers. There's a lot of different factors that are contributing to pollinator declines, but habitat loss is a big one. And planting flowers, that creates food for all of these different species of bees.
The U has something called, we have this,
Yeah.
Nest Quest.
Yeah.
Tell me about that and how people can get involved.
Yeah, so NestQuest is a participatory science project. So participatory science is the same thing as community or citizen science. So the idea of people that don't have a degree in science, a background in doing research, can help gather super valuable data for scientists. So as part of NestQuest, we have volunteers in 4 different county parks in the Twin Cities. They adopt a sort of plot or 2-acre area within one of those parks, and they are spending time looking for bumblebee nests. So that looks like doing a really slow, meandering walk through these prairie areas, looking for signs of bumblebee nesting. So that's things like bumblebees flying into the ground, into a little hole in the ground, hearing a buzzing sound. The nest that they're showing on the screen right now is one that I found based on sound. Like I stepped and I heard the loud buzzing, and that was what told me there was a nest there. And bumblebees also do something called orientation flights, where they fly in this big circular pattern because they're orienting themselves to the location of their nest. They're kind of bookmarking these landmarks around them so they know how to find their nests
Wow,
again.
that's fascinating.
smart.
Yeah, and there's a lot of gaps in knowledge when it comes to bumblebee nests. We know a little bit about that some species, prefer to nest underground. They'll use these abandoned rodent dens or in urban areas, what types of habitat they might use. But there's a lot we still don't understand. We're not sure exactly what the queens are queuing in on when they're looking for a place to establish a nest. And that's part of what we're trying to do with this program. So we have a lot, with volunteers, we can get a lot more people out there on the landscape looking for nests. And then our team of scientists can go in and do these really detailed habitat assessments. So documenting what plants are blooming in the area. We're taking soil samples. We're trying to understand, kind of how much grass there is in terms of how many flowers there are. So anything that we can understand about the surrounding area, because habitat reconstruction is one of, the most effective ways to help conserve and protect pollinators.
Yeah.
So getting volunteers involved with NestQuest is really helping us gather a lot of important data.
Well, Lise,
Bumblebee
thank you.
nests. This is fascinating.
By the way, I like your earrings. People can't tell they're bumblebees. I'm feeling a whole Minnesota Live episode
On
on
bees?
Ghost of the Bees because we're out of
Yeah.
time for this, but I think there's a lot more that we could discuss,
Yeah.
and it's an interesting topic for people. So thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
If you'd like to learn more about how you can help with the involvement to support the bees, head to minnesotalive.com.